There's a mortgage showdown brewing now between the lenders and the families at risk of losing their home. Next week in Washington, a series of meetings will be held to discuss banking regulations and possible solutions to what has been called a mortgage tsunami of foreclosures that are only getting bigger as especially as the arms that are out there continue to reset as rates go higher. Joining us with their thoughts on this, John Sauro, he's president of North Atlantic Mortgage Corporation, and David Berenbaum of the National Community Reinvestment Coalition, who will be testifying before Congress come Tuesday. And I welcome you both. Let's do first names all around if we can. David, you're going to call for a national standard of sorts as opposed to just the state laws that govern mortgage industry right now. Why?
Because essentially there's been a problem with the products that have been marketed to Americans across the country, and they're placing home ownership at risk across the country. And so we feel there's a need for better underwriting and, for that matter, supervision of the lenders.
John, given the impact the housing industry has on the national economy, isn't there a need for that right now?
Well, you know, I think there is concern with the subprime market, and Washington really needs to continue to look into this. However, any overreaction from Washington right now could be premature and could be wrong, because it could hurt the very loans that can help some of these homeowners refinance some of these mortgages, and that contributed to the record 69% home ownership that we've had in this country.
How would you solve the problem?
How would we solve the problem? Mostly through education. The consumers need to be better educated on how to shop for mortgages and how to make decisions on the right mortgage choices.
What about that, David?
Well, both prime mortgage holders and subprime mortgage holders are at risk right now. And some of these non-traditional mortgage products are creating situations of payment shock in the coming year. If we're going to address foreclosures, this isn't a market correction. This is about addressing the products that lenders are using and keeping Americans in their homes.
As you know, Senator Schumer of New York has called for some sort of a bailout, that's my term, although I think he may have used it as well, for the most troubled of the mortgage holders right now, to have federal funds used for that. What about buyer beware, though, David?
Well, there's a role for FHA, and government failure is part of the reason we're in this situation. The regulators should have intervened a while ago. But frankly, many Americans are able to and should consider refinancing immediately. A market solution is appropriate here. I don't view it as a bailout, but this is the right approach from a policy perspective.
John, what do you think of Senator Schumer's ideas?
Well, I don't necessarily agree with Senator Schumer's ideas, but I do agree with the NCRC's ideas about having FHA consider refinancing some of the loans that are out there for the people that need help right now. And I don't consider that a bailout either, as David does not consider that a bailout. I consider that a prudent measure that people absolutely should consider to look to refinance prior to having any problems. They should talk to the professionals and find out what their options are. But they should also choose their professionals wisely. They should check credentials, they should check references, and make sure that they're getting the right programs for their specific needs.
Aren't we getting to a point, I mean, you know, once upon a time you'd get a 30-year mortgage or you'd get a 15-year mortgage, and it was either fixed or it was an ARM of some kind. Now they're becoming so exotic, John. I mean, you do point to more education, but why do they have to be so exotic?
Well, I don't know that they're so exotic. I think
well, you know what I mean, though. I mean,
well, I do know. Yeah, I know what you mean. But let's look at this. The very groups that are looking for change in this marketplace right now, or restrictions for that matter, on these types of loans, are the very groups that have pushed for these loans over the years to promote home ownership. The one thing we got to be careful about here is, while there are many different products out there and education is necessary at this time, we've got to be careful that we don't eliminate some of these programs, because the people that will get hurt will be the young people, the minorities, and the first-time homebuyers. And I don't think anybody wants to be responsible for not letting a person have their opportunity of buying a piece of the American dream.
You know, David, I've heard that a lot lately. Those who would otherwise not qualify for a loan get them, then they find themselves in hot water because they took a loan they couldn't afford. But those who gave them the loan say, hey, if we didn't, we would be accused of redlining otherwise.
Let's correct the record here, because we are all for equal access to credit and expanding home ownership. We fought for years for good prime credit in communities, both low to moderate income communities and communities that have been historically redlined. This is a question of good underwriting and responsible lending. And we have seen abuses across the country, and the time has come to change that through good national law.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's not over yet. John Sauro and David Berenbaum, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.